Calling the meeting to order. Present, Maria Okpara, Rick Raleigh,
I'm here.
Gary Arcee. Here. Amanda Buchanan,
Here.
Dennis Bender.
Here.
Nobody is absent. Can I get a pledge of allegiance from Mr. Woodrow? Never know.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Kali, do we have any public comments?
None pertaining to closed session.
Okay. Um, Okay. Closed session. These are the items that we are going to discuss at the closed session. People personnel, annual review, readmit case, AR number 1, 2425. Conference on litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9 subsection A, current litigation, 10 cases. CIVDS 2011183, CIVSB 2111 303 222 0303 221 8676 222 7023 230 4865 231 4073 2322171 2412359 and 2412687. Government Code Section 54954.5 subsection C and 54956.9 subsection D and 2 and E and 1. Anticipated litigation, one case, 2020-2021-05. Public employee discipline, dismissal, release, reassignment, transfer, leave, certificated, title, certificated, and classified employees. Number 4, public employee appointment, resignation, retirement, reduction, title, certificated, and classified employees. Number 4, conference with labor negotiator, agency negotiator Jeremiah Harrison, employee organization, Apple Valley Unified Teachers Association. Number 6, conference with labor negotiator, agency negotiator Christine Dupree, employee organization, California School Employees Association. Number 7, conference with real property negotiator, Government Code 54956.8, negotiating parties, Matthew Schulenberg, Apple Valley Unified School. Number 8, security matters, Government Code Section 54957, consultation with Apple Valley Unified School District Chief of Police. Superintendent's evaluation, I need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved. I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. With 1 o'clock. Calling the meeting to order. Roll call, Maria Opara, I'm here. Rick Raleigh,
Here.
Gary Arcee,
Here.
Amanda Buchanan,
Here.
Dennis Bender,
Here.
all are present. Zoe, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Zoe. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. Before we get started, I'd like to say that the board appreciates and supports our educational partners' input at our meetings. Engagement by members of the public and civic matters is the cornerstone of our democracy. Everyone should have a chance to express their opinions within the guidelines the board has established for its meetings, so that we're able to conduct the meeting effectively and efficiently. During the meeting, there will be time for the public to comment on matter not on the agenda. In addition, members of the public may comment on specific agenda items after I, as your board president, ask for public comment on an item until it is your turn to speak, or if you are here just to observe the meeting. Please refrain from any behavior that prevents others from participating in the meeting or that disrupts the board's ability to conduct the business of the board. Once again, thank you very much for taking your time to join us this evening and to be a participant in this duty of serving our students and our educational community. At this time, we would like to pause in a moment of silence to remember Apple Valley Unified School District family member Christina Kimsey and AVUSD family member Loris Smith. Thank you. Board comments? Mr. Bender?
No, just the first days of school are the best, students and the teachers. Very good week for me. I got a new granddaughter yesterday. My brother taught me from Adrian, Darmhawk, and
Good.
Congratulations.
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 Amanda Buchanan?
All right, so welcome back. Good evening. I wanted to extend a warm welcome to all our students and our parents, educators, staff, as we embark on another exciting school year. This year, as always, we are committed to providing the best possible educational experience for all of our students, and I'm excited about what we're going to achieve together this year. Over the summer, I had the incredible opportunity to join some of our dedicated teachers and President Akpara on the Footsteps to Freedom educational tour, focused on studying historical empathy, particularly through the lens of the Underground Railroad. And the experience was it was profoundly moving. And it reminded me of the importance of teaching history in a way that fosters understanding and compassion. And I'm eager to see how the lessons learned from this trip will be integrated into our curriculum to help students connect with history on a deeper level. I also had the chance to take my own children to visit my family in Tennessee and Cincinnati. This trip was just a really great experience to connect with our own roots and reflect on the importance of family, community values that are the heart of our own school district. So traveling with my children and sharing our family history made me think about the diverse backgrounds of all of our students and how we can continue to celebrate and support that diversity in our schools. So as we start this new year, I am filled with optimism and excitement for what lies ahead. And together, we can continue to build a community that supports and uplifts every student, ensuring that they have the tools that they will need to succeed, whether this is your first year or your 40th in Apple Valley Unified. Let's make this this year one of growth, learning, and unity. So thank you for being here tonight, and let's work together to make this year our best yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Arce?
Just like to welcome everyone back and commend the students, the teachers, the parents, the staff, the support staff for a very successful first opening a couple of days of school. As I traveled around the district yesterday, I just saw a tremendous teamwork, tremendous anticipation, excitement for the new year. Happened to drop by Sandia and saw a mom dropping off her kindergarten student. And the student was a little bit apprehensive and a few tears coming down, but the staff there at Sandia knew exactly what to do and comforted that student. And pretty soon the student was just, all mixed in with her friends and didn't even know, that mom was gone anymore. The staff was even pretty supportive to help mom too, because mom had a couple of tears in her eyes. So, but the staff were right on top of it and just did a fantastic job. And that's just, emblematic of what was going on all throughout the district. Went to Apple Valley High School, and I'm talking to some of the students there, and I kind of chuckled that a couple of them were really excited. I mean, pretty much, even the high school students were excited to be back, but it made me chuckle that a couple of them were really excited because in Mr. Elmer's anatomy class, Mr. Elmer already had broken out some of the samples that they were going to be dissecting later on in the year, and boy, those students were just excited to dig into their laboratory samples. At Mariana, Mrs. Lasco was saying that it was one of the smoothest openings that she had ever seen. As she was out there directing traffic with her team, as I went around the district, just talking to bus drivers, just talking to security personnel, everyone was just excited to be back. It was funny that not only the students but the teachers were saying it's so good to be back and have a routine again. It's funny, we take it for granted, but as I was a teacher for 35 years, my life was governed to the moment, to the minute. I knew exactly at what minute every single bell was going to ring, when I could finally go to the bathroom and when I could get lunch, and we get used to that structure, and not just the teachers were so happy to be back, but the students and the parents. I saw a lot of happy parents to be dropping off their kids again at school. Law enforcement team was out there in force. I really enjoyed our law enforcement personnel giving one-on-one tutoring lessons to the drivers in the finer points of speed limits and driving etiquette and proper places to drop off their kids. So, thank you to Chief and Max and everyone who's doing just such a fantastic job. So everywhere I went throughout the district, there's just a lot of excitement, a lot of anticipation. Everybody's excited to be back. And I just know tremendous things are going to be happening this year. Our students are going to grow. Our teachers are going to grow with all the professional development opportunities we have for them. We have so many young teachers here in this district. And, so many of us have been here for so long, but it's great to see the energy, the enthusiasm, the creativity that our new teachers represent. So I know all of us up here are just excited about the new year, as are you. So again, I just wanted to thank Superintendent Nelson, all the administrative team, the teachers, the administrators, parents, students. There's just tremendous energy out there. I know it's going to be a fantastic year. So thank you for all of your hard work and preparation leading up to this point.
Thank you so much. Mr. Raleigh?
Well, I just want to echo what everybody else has said and Gary's enthusiasm. You're right. I did go to the luncheon with some of the other board members with the new teachers, and there's a lot of young teachers that look like they're right out of high school themselves, which is good because it's an honorable profession, and to see people stepping up to the plate to become teachers. It was heartwarming to see that in today's society. So again, I want to echo what everyone said. Welcome back. Can't believe it's going to be 2025 school year already, but here we are. So thank you so much. Thank you, Marie.
Thank you very much. Comes to me. Welcome back to year 2024, 2025. I can't believe that I'm saying those words. But I can't wait to see what this year holds. When the school year starts, we are filled with enthusiasm and excitement and the joys that we see on the faces of the families. I have to say, though, um, this was one year that, for some reason, it entered. I entered into it into like a different human being. Um, I have to start by thanking the school district and my fellow board members for sending 10 people on the footsteps to freedom. It was a journey that I didn't know I was going to learn anything new because I thought I knew it all. But I found out I knew nothing. But I have to thank the district for that invitation to go and to travel through the, like Trustee Buchanan said, to retrace the footsteps to freedom and to actually walk the steps that others walked. And it was really a challenge for me. The next day after we arrived, we had to climb this hill, and the hill was a killer. My knees buckled. I had people trying to lift me up so that I could finish the journey. But in all of that, I was filled with so much gratitude in knowing that this district invested money in somebody like me to go and feel and travel that path. I don't know where that is going to lead, but I know one thing: I came out a changed person. And so thank you to the school district. I also have to thank somebody who was exceptionally special to me that I did not know was going to be special to me, but when I went on the trip, I realized how special she was. And that is I think she's the dean or the assistant principal of Apple Valley High School. She made me a special jacket that I took on that trip. I wanted to take that jacket because I wanted everybody to know that I was not there to represent me. I was there to represent the 14 schools in the district. And so in the jacket she made for me, she put the logo of all the schools on my jacket. So it was a nice little reminder that I wasn't there for myself. I was there for my district. So thank you to Mrs. Knox uh, for blessing me that way. I came for the backpack giveaway, and it was a true joy. When I say it was a true joy, the line wrapped around this building, and I thought I was going to be tired. But just watching those parents stand in line in that heat and waiting to collect their special backpacks and supplies put in by this district, I was so honored to say I participated and helped those parents to get their backpacks for their children. And those who couldn't get their backpacks on that day, this district made a point of giving them the backpack when they finally did register their children. So thank you to the school district. Um, Opening day. Yesterday was our opening day. Uh, it was a sight to behold. Parents were waiting outside before the gates were open. I managed to make it to Yakaloma School because that's the closest to my house. I had no idea how long it was going to take. I thought we were just going to say hello and welcome to our school, but it was not. We didn't know where the classrooms were. Luckily, I didn't do the classroom assignment. Mr. Conrad did. So I stayed away from trying to do the classrooms. But it was something to behold and to see how ready those principals were and how ready the teachers were and how ready the parents were. The parents were very receptive to all of the changes coming their way. However, because I did not get to see all of the schools, and I felt that I had shortchanged the schools, I went home right away and went to my social media and said a prayer over all the entire schools. Because I did believe that even if I couldn't see them, there was a higher being that I needed to call on to look on our district, on our children, on our families, on our parents, on our teachers, on our administrators, on our transportation people, on our cafeteria workers and the district administrators, and our police to keep them safe through this school year. So having said that, I have to say, I have never been more proud to serve you on this board than I am at this point in time. And I hope you guys will go along with us on this ride, and feel free to talk to us about anything that touches you. And we'll be sure to pass it on to the superintendent. Thank you so much for letting me speak this long. Superintendent's comments.
Well, I saw Mr. Holcreef in the back row shaking his head about the steep hill from Footsteps to Freedom. And you will have a presentation in a future board meeting from the team once they've gathered and had an opportunity to collaborate and discuss their takeaways from the entire, the different groups that went. I do know that Martis Killian came by after her group went with, she started to talk and cried. We just left it at that. She said it was very moving. So I look forward to seeing the presentation and how they're going to implement within their classrooms. As we know, school did start up yesterday. It was smooth. I have to say, probably one of the smoothest openings in my 22 years at a start of a school in the Apple Valley Unified School District. And there were normal hiccups, like the traffic is going to be a problem for several days as we do what Mr. Arce mentioned. We set systems in place. It's retraining people in the system that has to take place. And over the course of the next several days, we're teaching them, whether it's our police department teaching them to slow down, or it's just the system, handing them a map of where to drop off. But all in all, I think next week we'll see some alleviation of that because our ELOP programs will open and less kids will be being picked up at the same time at the end of the day. So we know first few days, they're tough. I started, we have 3 different flights of schools. I was able to start at each of one of the flights. High Desert Premier, I'm looking at Mr. Smith right now. What a great opportunity to be there in the morning and greet the kids. Several of the student advisors are still there, and I really appreciated seeing them and welcoming them. And then I moved on to Phoenix Academy, and I stood out in front of the upper campus with Mr. Davis, and so many of the kids didn't know what their special code number was, their ID for their teacher or their first period. So I finally opened my phone and got Aries up in front, and I just would ask names, and I had a mom that just kept bringing me kids, and I'd find where they were going. Some kids came back 2 and 3 times, so they'd have to repeat it 5 times to me before they could leave after the 3rd time of looking them up. But we had a wonderful morning, all ages, all emotions, and it was welcome. It was a welcome day. And then finally, I went to Sycamore Rocks in my startup of schools, and I parked in the park and walked through the park so that I didn't have to fight the traffic. And they had kids that were not rushing in because most of their kids had visited the day before to get to see where their classrooms were and open the door to see who their teachers were. So they were calm, and the parents were calm, and there were far fewer tears at Sycamore than a lot of the campuses. So it was pretty cool to watch that. And then I did my normal get through the rest of the district. So 14 school sites. I joke that there's tunnels that they've provided for me and secret passages, but I get there, and I'm either there during a passing period or in the office to greet people. But every school, the only place I did not get to yesterday was the Ops Center. And so I was there this morning at transition from bus drivers. And I think for me, being able to see and participate in the morning and throughout the day helps. And so we'll continue that through the rest of the next 2 weeks of first thing in the morning out on campuses, checking out, and in the afternoons at release. I'd like to congratulate Kara Sanchez from Apple Valley High School. She competed in practical nursing and brought home the bronze in Skills USA National.
Ooh.
And so we're really excited about that. As always, we're proud of all of the students that were able to compete. And even if they did not medal, it says a lot about our CTE programs here in the High Desert and specifically in Apple Valley that so many of our students are eligible to compete. I also want to thank the staff who traveled to Atlanta with them and all the extra planning it takes to get some of the items that they need for competition. This isn't like pack it in a suitcase and take it. So there's a lot of who's going to drive the truck and who's going to deliver it and then who's going to fly. It's a bunch. So kudos to them. On Tuesday night, I said earlier it was strange that we're having a board meeting after the first day of school, but even different because we had National Night Out, which we don't pick that night. It's a National Night Out, and we participate in that in the town of Apple Valley. And so we started Tuesday early and ended at the park for National Night Out. Mariana Torres, our Director of Equity and Access, and our new teacher on assignment, if you haven't met him, you will soon, Nelson Lopez Campos, who's working on community schools. Matt worked alongside the Amazing Family Center staffs, and it was fun to engage in our community. And over there on the wall is what we had kids do. They had to write or tell us what they liked about school. And the first little girl that walked up to me, I said to her, "Do you have something you like about school?" And she says, "I'd like to learn." And I thought, there you go. I'm done for the evening. Let's just. So that's what's there. Mr. Conrad has a special one because a child told them that what he liked about school was Mrs. Conrad, who's a kindergarten teacher. And so that's pretty powerful, right? But that said, Dustin was there along with Kristen and Jeremiah with an HR table so that they could highlight what positions we have in the district and convince people that they need to apply and how to apply. So it's a great event. If you haven't been, come next year. It's a big deal, and we love that our community does this. Backpacks and school supplies, as Ms. Okpara said, I got to participate for a short period of time. The best part is the little girls when you hold up, or little boys, but the girls had a little bit more choice this year. And so you'd hold up the backpack. I learned from Ms. Okpara when I got over there, and they'd be like, so you put it down, you pull two more, and they'd be like,
Yep, that one.
and I repeated over and over again, and I would have done it 50 times if it took that long to find the right backpack for a child. So great event by our family centers and all the people that participate. Tomorrow begins our weekly food pantry. So if you're around the district tomorrow, stay out of the back parking lot around noon because you won't get a park and you'll probably have a lot of traffic to deal with. In reference to, for the board, I do have another comment, but we can wait till the end because it's more about work stuff for future. So,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We'll keep it at that. But thanks
Okay.
everybody for all the hard work. I know startup is not easy, but it's, I think, better than the end of the school year.
Thank you so much. Before I call on the CSEA will not be here tonight, and they gave us, let us know they won't be here. And before I call on the Teachers Association to speak, thank you so much for inviting us to your luncheon. I thoroughly enjoyed going over. And now, Apple Valley Unified Teachers Association, Karen Sabers.
I don't know. This is competition following you all. Okay. Good evening, Superintendent Nelson, board members, cabinet, and audience. As I was thinking about my speech tonight and what I was going to say, I remembered when Ms. Sakapara used to have the word for the year.
Mhm.
So when I thought about my word, I thought my word could be reflection, because I do a lot of reflection. Our exec board reflects. And so I thought that would be appropriate for this year. I also tend to reflect early in the morning, and I have to stop myself from calling people at 4:30, 5 o'clock to discuss my reflections. Okay, so it is with great honor and a deep sense of responsibility that I address you today. At the start of both the new school year and my new term as president for AVUSD. As we embark on this journey together, I am filled with anticipation for the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. I look forward to strengthening our collaboration and working together as we prepare to shape the future of our students and our schools. Our educators are a vital cornerstone of this district, and their dedication and commitment to our students is truly exceptional. Each day, they bring passion, creativity, and perseverance into their classrooms, striving to inspire and nurturing the minds of our young learners. This year, more than ever, our focus is on collaboration, working together with the district and school administration to create and maintain safe, supportive, and enriching environments for all. The challenge of the past year have underscored the importance of unity and support in addressing the issues that impact our schools. Our collective goal is clear: to foster a community where every student can thrive academically, emotionally, and socially. Achieving this goal requires open communication, mutual respect, and a willingness to work hand in hand, embracing each other's strengths and addressing the shared challenges. This year, as we work together to face challenges and seize the great opportunities ahead, I want to emphasize a few key areas where we can continue to make a meaningful impact. First, supporting educators. It is crucial that we provide our teachers with the resources, professional development, and support they need to excel in their roles. Investing in our educators is an investment in our students' success. Secondly, strengthening collaboration. The foundation of our success lies in our ability to work together. By fostering open communication and mutual respect between the union, the district, the board, the school administrators, and the community, we can address challenges more effectively and find solutions that benefit everyone involved. Next, teacher and student well-being. Our dedication must include fostering a safe and supportive environment for both students and educators. Every individual in our schools deserves a setting where they feel valued, supported, and empowered to thrive. And finally, equity and inclusion. We must remain steadfast in our commitment to equity and inclusion across all facets of our educational system. Every student should have equal access to opportunities and resources, regardless of their backgrounds or circumstances. I'm enthusiastic about continuing my involvement with the Cohort for Community Schools as we enter our second year of planning. Community schools are instrumental in addressing issues of equity and inclusion, and AVUSD strongly supports this vital initiative. As we begin the new school year, let us reaffirm our commitment to working hand in hand to tackle the challenges ahead and celebrate the successes that we achieve together. By supporting each other and focusing on our shared goals, we can make a lasting, positive impact on our schools, our teachers, and our students. Thank you for your commitment to our schools and for your ongoing support for our educators. Let's make this year one of growth, collaboration, and achievement for all. In solidarity, Karen.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. I hope we can all find the word for this academic year. I didn't think about it yet. This one snuck up on me. So we're going to get it by next board meeting. We'll all let you know what we got. Thank you. Closed session reports. The clerk will read out any action taken in closed session.
Thank you. Yes, we have one item. And in closed session, the Board of Trustees took action to support of the following recommendation from the superintendent. It was with conference with labor negotiator on a motion by board member Okara, right, I'm getting there, and a second by board member Arce. The Board of Trustees approved the following: to amend the previous board action to ensure that the stipends A, B, C, D, and E, excuse me, for the 2023-2024 school year have been dispersed to employees at the following rates. Stipend A, $47.21. Stipend B, $40.092. Stipend C, $3,462. Stipend D, $25.18. And finally, stipend E at $18.89. And that was on a motion 5-0 in support. Thank you.
Thank you. And now recognition. I need to adopt the agenda. Adoption of the agenda. The board may approve the agenda as is or add and or pull items from the consent agenda for discussion and or action. I need a motion.
I'll move the item.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, recognition presentation.
I would have done it. Thank you. Thanks. We're good. I'm going to ask while they're coming up to invite Rudy Seguro up here and Jason Buchanan and James Hopper. Come stand right here, like in front of the audience, like right there. There you go. Well, we talk about you. Well, I talk about you. Well, there's only 3 people up here tonight. This represents a very large group. Well, in a single man with a little bit of help, a team that turn our graduation into something pretty spectacular. And so we made the decision that we couldn't go with another year of these night after night wonderful graduations without recognizing you in front of our public and our board and thanking you for making sure that it goes like there's nothing but magic happening. Rudy shows up each night to videotape, has student workers helping, and he's a Granite Hills High School teacher, but goes for Apple and High Desert Premier and just makes sure that everybody is supported and that we have what we need. And so I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, it doesn't go unnoticed. I watch you run around. We all do. But we appreciate the fact that you archive that and it's available and streaming for families to see that aren't there in person. So that's one. I'll get you your certificate in just a second, Rudy, but you're pretty amazing. And he was a new teacher at one point, and I remember going into his classroom when he was split between 2 campuses. He was at High Desert Premier and Granite Hills High School. And wow, look how far you've come, man. Pretty cool. Yeah. And then Jason Buchanan's team, again, if the sound goes off or the mic stops or name it, it's seconds and it's fixed. And none of us panic anymore because Jason and his team are behind the scenes. There used to be panic, I will tell you that, over the years. And there used to be a little bit of a kill switch that we might need to do if something happened. But we don't have to manage that anymore because of their team. And finally, James Hopper's team just shows up and the grounds are beautiful. The grass isn't cut so that, it turns brown as we don't water it for a few days while we're doing graduation. The stage is set. All of the things, the chairs, there's so much more that I probably will never be able to even list, but they just do it. We ask, it's part of the job, but it's unbelievable. And so I just thought that we probably need to do this annually and recognize the groups. And we want it on your wall in your department so that they know, or in your classroom, so that they know that this happened. Okay. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. Jason's going to be uncomfortable for a few hours.
Yeah, get in there, get the board.
Ready, 1, 2, 3. And another 1, 2, 3.
All right. Update to priority one local indicator by Mr. Schlosser.
By far the least cool thing to talk about after all of the wonderful things about startup. But there's a wonderful tie-in, I think, and I'll explain. This is an update to the priority indicator one. You saw in June that I presented to you the local indicators that are required to be presented with the LCAP. And at that time, the local assignment, teacher assignment monitoring data that would be presented to any member of the public who went to our California School dashboard page, clicked on that link, they would have seen this data with the number of clear credentials, the variety of other kinds of credentialed folks, out of field, et cetera. And I showed you, I took a clip straight out of that page from the website. That was as of June 13. Well, sometime over summer, if you notice, this is for 21-22 school year. Sometime over summer, the state caught up a little bit and they published the 22-23 data. So still old, but newer. And they sent us a note saying you are required to present to your board this new data. And so here I am doing that. This is the new data. Yeah, so it's still old, but it's not as old. And so similar numbers, a little less out of field, clear credential numbers kind of similar. The intern number is up. Again, this is for 22-23. Last year's school year data, we hope will be done by the time we present in June to you, the local indicators, and then we'll kind of be caught up that way and only be 1 year behind. Of course, we are completely reliant on state data for this. This is not different in any other district. Lots of people are making the same presentation all week this week across the state. So what I pulled up for you is kind of a comparison across 3 years now. Again, we're waiting for the 23-24. That'll be about a year out. And it shows the number of total FTEs in Apple Valley Unified School District, the percentage who are completely clear credentials. And I take issue with one of these columns. And that's the column called ineffective. It's a ridiculous term. It has no basis in reality. It's a technical term from the state that really just says whether or not they are credentialed perfectly and have a clear credential in their field. But we know that lots of our new teachers who are technically by the state deemed ineffective are nothing short of wonderful. And that's the tie-in, isn't it? To the week we just had and the startup and the weeks really prior. And something that was mentioned by many of the board members and by Karen, and that's the importance of professional development. And we just had a wonderful 5-day professional development series for our new teachers where we got to spend a lot of time with them, answer their questions, give them great content, and make sure that we're working towards not only helping them clear their credentials, but making a lie out of the state in that column of ineffective. And so that's really all I have.
Thank you. Adopted state budget and AVUSD budget adjustments. Mr. Schellenberg.
Thank you. Give me a sec here. I'm trying to avoid IT issues. All right, thank you. I'm here just to present a little summary of the state adopted budget, pull out a few of the high points, and talk about any material adjustments that we had to make based on what the state adopted. Just a little bit, and again, I forgot my disclaimer here. You'll see this is a School Services of California slide. These are slides that School Services prepares based on the July budget workshop that district representatives attended and some of our bargaining unit friends attended. It was virtual. So he talked a little bit about the Anderson forecast for the economy in California. And you'll see they do have some concerns, although personal income was expected to grow a little bit. I know the stock market sell-off these last few days might have changed some of these opinions because this was published about a month ago. But revenues at the state, based on what the governor adopted, revenues at the state are coming in slightly better than what the governor proposed or adopted in the proposed budget. So we'll see where that goes. Just a little slide to show what they did adopt in 24-25. You'll see a PIT over on the left. That's personal income tax. That's the largest source of revenue to the state of California. Then the corporation tax and sales and use tax. They are projecting slight increases in those for the 24-25 budget year. And we all do hope that does come true. One thing that the governor had proposed early on in the budget process, you may have heard the Prop 98 maneuver that he proposed. Back in 22-23, the thought was that education was over appropriated. And Prop 98 sets a minimum guarantee for education. And over the many years of Prop 98, the state has kind of adopted the minimum guarantee as the maximum amount of money education gets. So when they give us more, whether on purpose or by mistake, they consider it an over appropriation. So the governor wanted to do some kind of a maneuver, which took $6.2 billion out of the Prop 98 guarantee, which would have had a negative effect moving forward in terms of what the minimum guarantee was in Prop 98. However, there was an agreement reached really between Governor Newsom and the California Teachers Association on the way they treated this particular money. It did favor schools and it favored education in the long run. So it did provide a couple things there. I'm not going to read that to you, but what it did is it established the higher minimum guarantee moving forward, but then the legislatures went back and suspended Prop 98 because they couldn't fund it at the minimum guarantee. And what that created was something called a maintenance factor, where they promised to pay us back over time for the money they owe us. That's right, Dennis. I appreciate that. Yes. But all in all, it's good for us right now in education. One thing they did bring back, you may remember deferrals from years and years ago, where the state says, yeah, we're supposed to pay you this much, and we're going to pay you part of that, but the rest of it's going to come 3, 4, 5, 6 months later in terms of cash. They did some fancy accounting things, and they did a budget deferral in 23-24. So last fiscal year, there's a $4 billion budget deferral. That has no impact on us. It's a state accounting, I'll call it a trick. In 24-25, they do have one cash and budget deferral, which will have an impact on school districts. Our June apportionment won't come until July. So we will have to watch our cash flow toward the end of the year to make sure that we are not impacted negatively and we can make any of our June 30, July 1 payroll without that cash coming until, I think, July 6th or 7th. So it's only a few days, but it's a few days that can make a difference. There you go. It's really not impacting a whole lot of school districts. Now, it does say strong local cash balances, and there are districts with strong cash balances. I would not classify our cash balance as strong, but I would classify it as not bad at this point. A lot of districts have held on to a lot of that one-time money and money that they have still a couple more years to use. We've made the decision to use those funds and expend a lot of that money, so we don't have as large a cash balance as some of the school districts across the state. Our local reserve cap, if you recall a few years ago, they enacted a maximum amount of money a school district can have in their reserve if the state Prop 98 reserve is funded. And it has been through 22-23. In 23-24, with the negotiated, with the governor negotiating with CTA to get rid of his so-called maneuver, they depleted the Prop 98 reserve in the 23-24 fiscal year. Therefore, in 24-25, our upcoming year, that local reserve cap is not actionable. So we are not held to that cap. So a little summary of the LCFF funding factors. I know there's a lot of numbers there, but really what this illustrates is our major source of funding from the state of California, how much we get per ADA. You'll see the base grants there for each grade span, the 1.07% cost of living adjustment, and how that impacts the base grant. And then, of course, we get grade span adjustment and supplemental grant and concentration grant funding for each one of our students. That's just kind of a summary of our LCFF. We're projecting about 12,602 ADA this year. With our enrollment where it is, we're hoping that holds. We're hoping that goes up. And we will continue to watch that through the year and make any appropriate adjustments to our LCF revenue as we move through the interims, particularly our first interim, which is our financials as of October 31st, and the second interim. Just wanted to share the dartboard with you, what school services and the California Department of Finance are projecting in the out years. You'll see 24-25 is our budget year there with a COLA of 1.07. They're currently projecting right around 3% for the next 3 years. We'll know more of those as we continue through this year. Again, for 25-26, we won't know what that statutory COLA is until we get into May and June toward the end of this year. One of the things they did change is the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant. A lot of school districts, as I mentioned earlier, were holding on to a lot of that one-time money. This is one of those things that a lot of districts were holding on to. So there was a lawsuit, and California settled, and see in the lower right there, the settlement calls for at least $2 billion to be captured through needs assessments that districts are supposed to conduct for the expenditure of those remaining funds beginning in the 25-26 school year. We've spent all our Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant, so we will not be doing this. Yeah, that's a good thing. We used the money on our kids. So our material adjustments, none. From the May revised to the adopted budget, the state did not make any major changes that affected any of the assumptions that we used in our proposed budget. And again, so the LCFF allocation, there are no material changes. We'll fine tune that first interim based on our enrollment and ADA projections moving forward. And our Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant, again, we did expend those funds already, so we don't need to make any adjustments on that side. One of Governor Newsom's programs that he continues to fund is the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program. This just outlines some of the revised spending requirements for those funds. Our first year was 21-22, so any of the original funds in those first couple years had to be spent by the end of June, and we did accomplish that. Last year's money now has to be spent by next June, so ongoing we have 2 years to spend each year's allocation on the ELOP. And then you'll see in the bottom right, it mentions an attendance recovery program. That's something new that begins in the 25 school year. And there's a lot of detail on that yet to come. The CDE is required to write a whole new set of regulations for us requiring or in guiding us in our attendance recovery program. This is a tough slide to swallow because what this is this is the projected K-12 enrollment in California moving forward. You'll see they're projecting some significant decreases, which of course affects school districts, staffing, attendance, students, everything. Fortunately, Apple Valley Unified has not seen a significant decline as many districts have in these last couple of years. But this is still something for us to watch locally and how it will affect us. and the road ahead. If anybody has a crystal ball, I'd be happy to see what it says. Again, with the deferrals and maneuvers added to the budget, that does cause us some curveballs, earthquakes, as Dennis mentioned. It's going to be important for the revenues at the state to keep up with what Governor Newsom and the Department of Finance have used as their assumptions in the budget. If those revenues fall short, as they have the last couple of years, then those 3% COLAs in the out years won't be there. That's all I have for this evening. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kylie, do we have any public comments?
We do. We have 3 this evening.
Thank you. As provided on our public comment cards, speakers are requested to limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. If more than one person wishes to speak on the same topic, subsequent speakers should limit their remarks to new information only. Public comment shall be limited to a maximum of 20 minutes per item. Kevin Self.
All right. Hello and good evening. My name is Kevin Self. I'm a father of 2 Apple Valley Unified students. One is in 2nd grade and the other is in TK. 2 weeks ago, we were told our 4-year-old would not be able to attend TK at Sitting Bull with her sister. Instead, she would be in overflow at Rio Vista with more than 20 other students who were also being sent to Sitting Bull, or from Sitting Bull, sorry. At least a full class of students, 4-year-olds, that are being displaced, and those with siblings at Sitting Bulls were not giving any priority. Despite years of prior knowledge that TK enrollment would be increasing, no additional classes were added at Sitting Bull, leaving Sitting Bull with 1 TK class and Rio Vista with 3. The problem is Rio Vista starts an hour later than Sitting Bull. I communicated with the enrollment department that moving my daughter from her assigned school poses significant financial strain on our family. My wife, who is a nurse, will not be able to go to work on time due to my other daughter starting at 9 a.m. I immediately tried to problem solve and was told that we were ineligible for transportation as TK students are too young, and we are not able to simply bring her to a bus stop closer to the school because Rio Vista is not our assigned school. We are also not eligible for early morning services. That's what my wife was told by the staff at Rio Vista. We're not eligible for early morning services offered by the school, as those should be reserved for children who are permanent and the school, and she might be potentially transferring. My older daughter was not able to be transferred to Rio Vista, as that is not her assigned school, Sitting Bull is, as well as ineligible to ride the bus because we are 0.9 miles away from the radius of the school, not the 1 mile. It is the school's understanding that when there is an opening, or in our child's case, 13 openings, we will be moved. The enrollment department told us that we should be thankful that she was able to attend Rio Vista and it was the preferred school. And to cross our fingers, she will eventually be moved. I don't expect any immediate changes or answers right away. I'm just looking for some kind of help or guidance on what else we could do. We've been making phone calls ever since we found out that she was going to Rio Vista. And I know we are not the only ones dealing with this, but we might be forced to pulling them out of the district and sending them somewhere else. And that comes personal for me because I graduated from Apple. My dad graduated in '78. I had some of you guys as my teachers. I graduated with some of your kids, and I was really looking forward to my kids going here, but it's just not doable. My wife's spending 4 to 5 hours in drop off and pick up. But thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Debbie Rubio.
Good evening, Board, Superintendent Nelson, Cabinet, fellow teachers, classified support staff, principals, police, and last but most of all, parents and students. I'm here to be authentic with full disclosure and transparency, representing many staff afraid to speak. I'm Debbie Rubio, a fully credentialed English teacher with the district going on my 11th year. There's so many good things about our district. And I was really sad when my colleague Chris Watkins departed, giving up his leadership and professionalism to our district, frustrated because of one man he called the bean counter. I have one question today. I just saw it up there. Where did the 8.2 emergency cost of living increase from the state go? You see, California gave every district an emergency 8.2 COLA to offset the unprecedented 20% cost of living increase that we have experienced over the past 3 years. Oh yes, I've already gone to AVUSD. What the hell, Karen? Did Christy steal that too? I did say that. The AVUSD president personally told me no one saw this coming, so they didn't ask for the COLA, so we didn't get it. I don't get it. Victor got a 4% raise plus the 8, which gave them 11 paid out in 2 lump installments last year. Hesperia got a 3% negotiated raise from their union plus a 7% COLA for a total of a 10%. Apple Valley Unified School District got 3%, just 3%. Where did our COLA go? But we did get a bonus. There was a $100 medical deduction taken out of our paycheck. Wait, is minus $100 a bonus or a hardship? Is this a joke to you in closed session? Are you sitting around laughing and joking about us that we don't notice? Please listen closely and make room in the cells next to Christy. The law is that the state emergency COLA can only be spent on teacher salaries or healthcare. It's a one-time emergency designated fund on top of the regular salary negotiated increase. It's not up to the union to decide, or one man, thank God, it's just math. Where did the 8.2% emergency COLA go? Please. We all know the truth can be manipulated by one man or one person with words on paper or a PowerPoint. Can we have a professional audit? Our last negotiator requested one 3 years ago to our former AVUSD president, Christie, who's now in prison. And he was shot down and resigned. Chris Watkins even gave up. So I came today to ask, where did the COLA go? Can it still be given out retroactively in a lump sum, or do we need to unite and fight the bean counter? I don't think so. But I do think we need an audit because I hear a lot of people asking questions. And I think that they will appreciate a professional outside audit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Francisco Perez. Services.
Good evening, Apple Valley School District, board members, parents, teachers. I'm here as a father of 3 boys at the Apple Valley School District who, one day will become responsible, contributing men of this society. I here to talk about mainly Assembly Bill AB 1955, Chapter 95. And this bill, as some of you may know, is explicitly prohibiting the quote-unquote forced outing among California schools. And again, that's in the bill. Take it as you want, but ultimately, my opinion is that parents have the right, the right to know what decisions their kids are making while they're at school. It is unfair, I think, for the responsible parents to be, and again, I'm saying responsible, it's quote unquote, but, for parents to be kept in the dark about life decisions that children are ultimately making while they're at school. I believe there has to be another way to help children who need the help without impacting the children who don't need the help. That's about what I have to say on that subject. What I do have is questions for the board. And I guess one of the questions I'm gonna start with is, how does Apple Valley School District plan on handling these situations? Second, is this bill, something that will be presented to the children at school, as an option, or is it being handled case by case? Next, will there be, or is there a policy implemented already within the district regarding this bill? And last but not least, will there be instruction or material provided to children addressing the bill? Like, is there going to be a presentation? Is there going to be slideshows? I'd like to know as a parent. So that's about all the questions I have for that assembly bill. And then another I'm just going to throw it in there, whether it has anything to do with it or not. But over the last 3 or 4 years, we have received the option to opt in or out of counseling services in the district. Written paper. This year, we haven't received that. And I'd like to know, has something changed? Is something different, or I guess we're just curious. We used to get that paper, and we had the option to consent whether or not our children receive counseling services, I guess, without our consent. And I just didn't see that this time. So, and I ask if we can maybe get answers in some sort of formal writing, or if any other parents requesting, the answers to the questions that I asked, maybe they can, find a way to get those answers as well.
Thank you.
And that's it. Thank you.
Board comments? Mr. Bender?
Well, I didn't say much the first time, so I'm gonna take 15 minutes right now.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding.
Go ahead.
Make sure we get back with this gentleman that just spoke.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And your last name is Self?
No.
No, behind you. Was your dad Donnie Self? Okay. And you know what? This is an old hat. This is my 57th first week of school.
I already know where you're going with it.
I know.
You have a lot more energy than I do.
I remember him.
I asked Steve and then Cody and Terry.
All right.
Everybody remembers.
Did you have them all then?
Is that the
I had
15? Is that your 15 minutes? Is he done? Rick? Is he done?
Are you done?
Oh, I'm done, yeah.
Oh, okay. Amanda Buchanan?
I have no comment.
Thank you. Gary Arce? Rick Raleigh?
I think that Mr. Self will have somebody contact you from the district. I mean, just to talk.
Just everywhere we call, it's like, oh, this is not home, it's the school's phone. Oh, it's not our phone.
We get it.
Thank
We'll
you.
have somebody contact you.
The two gentlemen that spoke, somebody will hopefully get in touch with you and get some answers. I'll give you some answers. We may not have solutions, but we will at least speak to you. Regarding the last speaker, or the second to last speaker, unfortunately, I don't approve of calling people's names at a board meeting. You address your case, but not the person. So when a teacher's name is brought up and mentioned at this level, it is absolutely unacceptable. We don't function that way. You just state your case. So when I'm listening to it, Christy is not here, and her name shouldn't have been brought up. Mr. Watkins is not here. Watkins, his name, he shouldn't be brought in here. There's no personnel in this district who's called a bean counter. And so if you want your case to be heard, I will assume that you are going to bring up the case as is and no labels. So that's a little bit uncomfortable for me to sit through it. And as the president of the board, I need to address it. Thank you. Mrs. Nelson?
I will set up times with staff and myself to go through some of the questions that have been asked and at least talk about kind of what parameters we have as well. Okay. I did reference in my June 14th email to board that Safe and Civil Board Workshop would be held on September 18th from 3:30 to 6 p.m. here in this boardroom. But we've also been invited to a small cohort of school districts to attend a mini Safe and Civil conference in Eugene, Oregon, from January 13th through the 16th. This would impact the board calendared meeting for January. So I wanted to get this to you now. We don't have to decide tonight, but I am going to need some direction. So I wanted to follow up with at least that information. We still have a little bit of time, but we would like to, if there are board members that are interested in attending, I do want to know that so that I can get that information to Safe and Civil. And then we can talk about what that board meeting looks like in January if we need to move it. And then the budget committee is getting ready to, the invitations have been sent. Wednesday, August 21st, 4:30 in conference room B. Maria, you and Rick were the last representatives back in 2021. I think most of that was done virtually due to COVID, but we just need to know if one or two of you is interested from the board to attend that. It's not a requirement of the budget committee, but we welcome it. So I think that needs to be just a discussion amongst yourselves as to what you'd like to do.
I think I'd like to go, and I also like to make sure that there's representative from the teachers and the classified, and they pick.
They already are.
and
That's
they
all.
pick
But
the people that
yeah.
come. So
Yeah.
thank you.
so Ms. Okpara is interested.
Sure.
I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it again either, but we have a couple new board members on here that maybe they'd want to step up, Amanda or Gary, so.
What time did we have last time? We had it from 3:30, right?
This one is happening at 4:30 in the afternoon. August 21st is the first one.
I am available. How frequently do they meet?
If you'd like, I will provide a schedule of the meetings to Kylie and she can send those out to the board so you have the dates so you can look at your availability.
Okay.
We have
I only have one soccer schedule so far. So that's-
absolutely. I've
I don't know yet.
it's going to be on a monthly basis, one a month.
Okay, so right now, at least we've got two that are, okay. And if something needs to change in the future, we can do that. And then I wanted to provide maybe a solution to align our practice with Board Bylaw 9250 that we discussed at the end of last year, referencing board member absences. The practice in the district has not been to remove salary or any of the pay, but to follow the board bylaw and to do a resolution would be appropriate. So my recommendation would be that if somebody is going to be absent and we know in advance, because we know those things happen, a surgery is planned, a family gathering is planned, we can take the resolution to the actual board meeting where the person is absent and make the decision to move forward. If it is after, like somebody gets sick, we will bring it to the following board meeting as a ratification if that's appropriate to the board.
That was my understanding when I read it, when I had forwarded it, was just to have the resolution acknowledging it.
Yeah.
So.
Is everybody comfortable with that?
Yeah, I mean,
think
it
is
just
what-
makes sense if it says we should acknowledge it, just so it's on the record.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, then there's the solution. I'm getting nods. I appreciate it. Thank you. And then just so the board members know, we have a calendared August 22nd, 2024, not for current board members, but it's our candidate workshop. Maria was writing it down diligently, but it's our candidate workshop. And we do it every time we have an election that involves any of the areas and trustees. And so more information will go out once the Register of Voters has given us the official list of those who are running. And then Kylie will send out invitations based on that list. And it's a variety of ways. Some people give us addresses, some just give email addresses. So we'll go from there. And I just wanted the board to be aware of that because I know we have at least one incumbent running. And so August 22nd, 2024. You may have seen an email from CSBA, but AXA is also pushing that we pay attention to AB 2088. The Senate Appropriations Committee will consider the bill on August 15th. They are referring to it as a one-size-fits-all approach to the hiring and promotion of classified staff without an ability to determine whether a candidate is well suited for the position regardless of our local practices. It removes local control. And so if you did not see the CSBA email, I can forward it to board members. You have the ability to send a letter asking them to not move forward with that. I mean, it impacts bargaining agreements. There's a lot to this. And if they move in on that and take away the local control on that, it's just like everything else. It'll continue to chop away at what you get to make decisions as a local board. So, okay. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees discuss and take action on the following items. Adopt the declaration of need for fully qualified educators form to be effective from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, as required by the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing. I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approve the certificated and classified personnel actions as listed. I need a motion.
I'll move it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Approve the recommendation of the administrative hearing chairperson effective immediately on annual review AR number 1, 2024-25. I need a motion. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda item. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees consider approving a number of agenda items as a consent list. Consent items are routine in nature and can be enacted in one motion without further discussion. This procedure conserves meeting time for a full discussion of significant issues. Consent items to be approved in one motion is 1 through 66.
I'll move we approve 1 through 66.
Is this when you pulled it?
If you'd like to pull on this, would be the time.
I would like to pull item number 57.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve items 1 through 66 other than 57.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item number 57 was to approve the agreement of legal services with Dennis Wolliver and Keller. My question is to Matt. Did we use them last year? And if so, how much did we use them?
We did not use the firm last year.
Okay.
Actually, Ms. Okpara, I can answer a longer piece to
Give me
this
a
because
version.
I've asked the same question. This firm applied during the RFP process that we originally did when I became superintendent or as the
And then we
transition.
put out a lot of
They were part of it. And we, at the time, we asked that we allow them to be part of our group that you approve. As an HR past assistant superintendent. I attended several of their free trainings where they'd gather assistant supes from human resources throughout the state. But they were all tied because they had an RFP. They had met the criteria and were one of the legal firms that the district could use. Didn't mean that they used them, just they were on the list. So it was a free service. I used to attend them. They were always in LA County. They were excellent. We continued to maintain keeping them in place, have never used them as a legal firm to provide legal services, but we did use their trainings. Dustin's team has not gone. He doesn't believe that they will attend those. They typically go to the IPC trainings with San Bernardino County. So we don't even actually need them to be maintained on the list. But that would cause you to vote no for tonight's piece in order to remove them. Either that or there would be a way to, is it table it, Kylie? Yes. You could table it and we don't have to bring it back.
Well, unfortunately, when I was reading the agreement that they had, it just triggered that their fee was excessive. It was way higher than all the other legal agencies that we have contracted with. And so I do not believe that we need to keep them. That's my opinion.
So you'll need a motion.
I'll need a motion to take out item number 57 from this agenda item.
The motion, we will need a motion. The approval is,
We've
the
already-
recommendation is to approve. So you will need a motion to approve, and you guys can either vote in favor to approve or to reject the recommendation of approval, which will result in the contract not being on an approved list.
Okay.
What is the benefit to us leaving it on the approved list?
Actually, nothing at this point. I don't think we would, we're not attending trainings. The group that was, the three attorneys that were doing typical HR trainings are not the three attorneys that are currently doing the HR trainings. Yeah. Doesn't harm us in any way.
Okay. I have items all the way to 56 and 58 to 66 are the items we're approving tonight, right?
You already
We've
approved those.
that.
Yep.
So we,
Everything but your full,
yeah, the 57 is the one.
57.
I'm going to call on a vote on 57. I need a motion to
To approve?
approve or not approve.
No,
No,
just
it's a motion to approve. And then everybody can vote no or yes,
I'll make
depending
a
on their.
motion that we approve 57.
No.
You'll need
RC?
a second.
You'll need a second.
Oh,
And I'll
second.
second it.
And then I
Okay.
say no.
She
And you
said
guys
no again.
all,
Choose.
And then we all in favor of saying no.
No, no.
no. All in
It's an
favor
all
of
in
passing
favor.
it?
All in favor.
No.
Don't even say anything because it's all in favor.
Okay, all in
Nobody
favor.
responds.
Okay, we're done.
And no-
Opposed?
opposed. You have to
No.
ask for opposed.
Any opposed?
Yes. We're all opposed.
So the vote is an 05 for all opposing, approving
Okay.
the
But nobody
contract.
else
You
spoke.
got this.
Yep.
You got it. It's gone.
My
done.
background is special ed. It's driving me crazy. God.
We're done.
All right, let's move on. We don't have any, do we have any item for another closed session?
No.
No, okay.
I hope not.
Any future items, do any members of the board have any future items to bring forward?
No, I don't.
Okay. Next board meeting will be Thursday, September 5th at 5 PM, Educational Service Center, Conference Room A. I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll move the item to adjourn.
All in favor? Thank you.